Hey everybody, Paul here in the kitchen. Going to share a recipe here, on the spot, spontaneous dinner recipe. Starting off with some pub style shaved beef. Man, is this good, from a local butcher. You can do so much with this kind of beef. You can put it on bulky rolls or French crusty bread with sauteed onions and cheese and make like a Philly cheesesteak type sandwich. Absolutely delicious. Or a French dip sort of sandwich as well, where you can dip it in the au jus, and that's always really good. But here's what we got going on tonight. We're going to saute this beef, and we picked up some chorizo here, some chorizo from the same butcher with the shaved beef. This stuff's really good. They make good Italian sausage over there as well. Got some onion, some garlic. We got a green pepper going. And we've got some brown rice on the stove. You can use white as well. And just the usual black pepper, sea salt. You can use some Louisiana hot sauce if you wish. But we're going to keep it real basic here. Chop up these veggies and check back in with you in a minute. I just put the beef right to the pan here, as you can see here in the cast iron skillet. And again, you don't have to put any extra oil in here. You know, the sausage there on the side and this shaved beef. And what we're going to do now, is get these veggies in here. And we're going to saute these for about 20 minutes. Got some chopped garlic, peppers, and onion. Use a nice big cast iron pan, and what you're going to be doing is sauteing these veggies just in the natural fat off that sausage there and the beef. Or a lot of black pepper, and just a touch of sea salt, not much. Now, I'm a one-pan wonder cook, and it's really convenient and efficient to cook using one pan. So let me show you what I've got going on over here. So the meat is cooked and the sausage is cooked, but I want these veggies really soft. So with the one pan method, people, what you want to do is fold your veggies underneath the cooked meat. Now let me show you what I got going on over here so you can see this cooking technique. I do this all the time. What you're going to do now is fold those veggies under that meat, okay, and then layer that meat on top of those peppers and onions. And what that's going to do, it's going to facilitate cooking those peppers and onions while all those delicious flavors from the sausage and the shaved beef are saturating into the veggies. You could also put a lid over this, kind of about 3/4 of the way, just to trap some of that steam and keep everything real delicious. And we'll turn the heat down now. Turn that on low heat and just let that simmer for about 5-10 minutes. By that time, the rice will be done. Look at that, people. All those delicious flavors blending together. Just going to serve this over that rice. Oh man, does that look good. Put some of that juice in there. Chef privilege. Man, is that good. That pub steak is so succulent. Just one link of chorizo sausage or Italian sausage goes a long way. You don't need to eat a whole big fatty meal with a whole bunch of sausage. One link, people, in a dish like this could easily feed about 4 people here. Just adds tons of flavor. With this one pan recipe, you saw no additional oil is required. The meat has enough fat to brown itself. In turn, that browns and sautés the veggies that you add to it. And drop your comments below about any one pan dishes that you've got up your sleeve that are a big success with your family and friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Hey guys, Paul here. Got a great pork chop recipe for you here tonight. Got thick cut pork chops. Heat up a cast iron pan. Put the pork chops right in the pan. No oil required. There's enough fat in there. 2 or 3 minutes on each side. In the meantime, preheat your oven. Bake on about 370. You can probably hear those pork chops simmering in the pan behind me. You want to get those nice and brown. You just crisp up the fat layer, and then we're going to bake those in the oven with the rest of this stuff. It's a little tip that I do for chopping garlic. Just take, that's a huge clove of garlic right there. What you do is just take the palm of your hand and you just crush it like that. And that way, see the skin, how easily that peels away? So many people have all these complicated systems for garlic, and all you got to do is just crush this stuff with the palm of your hand. Alright, so that's a good amount of garlic right there. It chops up some of this garden fresh kale. This stuff is going to be really good cooked up in those pork juices in the oven. You could use collard greens with this as well if you're down south. Up north here we use a lot of kale. So these bad boys have been browning up for a couple minutes now. Let's see how they're coming along. See, that's the color you want. See how that's getting nice and brown? That nice crust on there. Man, is that good. See that? So that's really all we want. And they're ready to transfer to the pan. Alright, and then we're just going to take this jalapeno bacon and just drape it over these pork chops. Like so. Man, this stuff is so good. This jalapeno bacon has a little bit of a bite to it, as you might imagine from jalapenos. So you really don't need much. But, I mean, since we're making it, let's just double up here anyhow. Get all that flavor in there. And next we're going to take some of this chopped garlic and sprinkle it on top of the jalapeno bacon. Just like that. All kinds of good flavor is going to be going on in here. And I'm going to take all this liquid and fat that's going to come out of the pork is going to cook this kale. So I'm just going to put the kale in here. And you could also add potatoes, chopped potatoes in here. And what that will do is brown the potatoes with all that delicious pork fat and jalapeno bacon, or any kind of bacon, you know, whatever you want. Or you could do like an andouille sausage, or even a Mexican chorizo, you know, anything like that. Bacon, chorizo, andouille sausage, anything like that. It's going to impart a lot of flavor. You know, you don't need to sit around eating a pack of bacon. You know, it's really not very healthy to do that. However, a couple slices of bacon on a dish like this adds tons of flavor. Some oregano there, fresh from the garden. Put it in. It's all good. Got a little basil. I tell you what, those juices are going to be cooking up this stuff. It is going to be fantastic. And along the lines of the kale or the collard greens, beet greens work really nicely too. There's beet greens. So put those in as well. Alright, pop this in the oven at 370. Alright, these 2-inch chops have been in there for about 15 minutes. What you want to do is base some water or other liquid over the greens. Keep them nice and moist. You can see they're coming along really good. And we're going to put these back in the oven for about another 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a thinner chop, probably just want to do this for about 20 minutes total, but these are full 2-inch thick chops. Alright, after basting your meat, let it sit in the oven. Turn off the heat for about 10 minutes at 350, 360 or so. And just let these pork chops sit in that oven with the heat off for about 10 or 15 minutes. That's going to get that really nice color. Man, does that look good? Let's eat. Wow. Man, is that good. Hey everybody, we've got a one-pan dish coming up here tonight. We've got leg quarters, chicken leg quarters on top of, those are black-eyed peas, dried black-eyed peas underneath, a full bag of them. So I filled the pan up with water to cook those black-eyed peas underneath that chicken. And I'm just resting the chicken on top of that with some good bold and smoky barbecue sauce, as well as some garlic salt and a little bit of that turmeric and a little black pepper. Just going to put these in the oven at 355. And yes, I am going to put a foil tent over the top for the first 40 minutes or so, and then I'll take that off for the last 15 to 20 minutes just to let that top brown up. Oh man, is that good. I'll tell you guys, what you do is cook this for about 40 minutes, take off the foil tent, and cook it for about another 15-20 minutes at 355, and then turn off the heat and just let this sit in there for an hour. Let all the juices from the chicken absorb into those black-eyed peas. Of course, they're also taking on some flavor from the barbecue sauce and garlic salt. And that meat in the chicken is just as juicy. Is that good? Hey, you guys, post your comments below. Do you like the one-pan wonder dishes? I sure do. And thanks for watching. Hey, friends. At the risk of turning some of you off with this video, Brussels sprouts are my favorite green vegetable. And this time of year, they are in harvest, and they're absolutely wonderful. These are California Brussels sprouts from Trader Joe's, really huge. What I do is I score them so they cook in the center, because those centers can get pretty big, and you don't want them, the outside to get mushy and the inside to be hard. So I score all of them, rinse them, and then what I'm doing right now is I'm just browning them. You can see I'm just kind of scorching them at medium heat with a little bit of oil in the pan. You can use olive oil. I'm using a canola oil here right now, but as long as you have a good quality cold pressed oil, it's all good. And what they're going to do is they're going to get a brown caramelization on the side there, like you were roasting them, except this method is a lot quicker. So that's what I'm doing over here, over medium heat. What I do is I cover them to expedite the process and to keep them moist while I do this. Alright, you can see the nice color there we've gotten. So after those have gotten caramelized around the edges, I'm going to add some water to the pan. And what you want to do here is you want to steam these vegetables, but you don't want to boil them. Okay? Boiling them is going to make them mushy. And what we want to do is we just want to impart that nice caramelized outer edges, which are kind of fun. And that's actually probably a little bit too much. The idea is that we just want to steam them and keep the goodness of the vegetable in without making your vegetables mushy like your typical American meal. And these guys will take a little while to cook through, so we don't want to boil all that water off. And then I cover it. And I'm going to turn that down to lower heat for about 10 minutes. Alright, these guys have been doing their thing for a while. This is perfect, you can see, because that water's evaporated totally. That is actually what you want. Remember how much water we had in when we covered it up 10 minutes ago? Well, this is perfect now. So what I like to do at this point is season them with some sea salt. I only use sea salt. And black pepper. Just put a little bit of that in there as well. Kind of get those flavors going in there. And then what I like to do is I've turned off the heat, okay? And now I'm going to cover it and let those just rest until they cool down. And this will ensure that the interiors of the Brussels sprouts are completely cooked. Maybe just angle that a little bit off the heat with that stove turned off. Hey guys, getting in the camera frame to test these out for you. Check it out. Those look good or what? If you're a Brussels sprouts fan like I am, that sure does look good. Let's try them out. Look at that, perfectly done. See that caramelized action going on there? Not mushy. The sea salt imparts that, or brings out the flavor very nicely. Are you a fan of sea salt? I love this stuff. Man. I realize some people really despise Brussels sprouts. Kind of like broccoli. They get a really bad rap. But my God. Check out that color. If you're a Brussels sprouts fan right now, or if you're a Brussels sprouts fan, you are loving this shot. Matter of fact, this might be the thumbnail of this video. What else can I say about these? They're dense. You can just sense the nutrition. Vitamin C, minerals. Brussels sprouts are like little green worlds of nutrition. They're so dense, they just remind me kind of like of a planet unto themselves where nutrition lives. You know, Trader Joe's has great Brussels sprouts. These came on the stalk, on the big stalks, like for $4. Check out the size of these California Brussels sprouts. I've grown these in the garden before. When you twist them off the stalk, that's what I do, is I twist them off the stalk. And then when I mentioned I score them there, what I do is I slice off, take two. I slice off where it meets the stalk right there. There's like a vegetal kind of nub there that's just no good. So I slice that off right into the sprout, but not too much that the leaves start separating from the sprout. Just slice off maybe like that much where you twisted it off the stalk. And then I slice into it so that it cooks evenly, as mentioned before. It's a powerhouse of vegetal density. That's what I'm getting at. Brussels sprouts are a powerhouse of vegetable density. You know what's nice too about this recipe, and yes, I am going to pick that sprout off of the floor when this video is over, are these extra bits of leaves, of the caramelized leaves that are in the pan. They're kind of crunchy. They have a little bit of that almost semi-burnt flavor. But they're really good. They're fun bits to eat. Have you guys enjoyed this video? Please post your comments below. Join the discussion. Do you love Brussels sprouts as much as I do? Or do you hate them? Look forward to hearing both sides, as well as any of your favorite recipes from you Brussels sprouts fans in the audience. It's ramping up for the holiday season. You might hear the snowplow right there. Yeah, it's coming. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, the holidays, Ramadan. Those of you who are into holiday cooking, remember to keep your nutrition going. Brussels sprouts are a great,
hearty vegetable dish for the harvest season. Plus, they're a late harvest vegetable. You know, kind of like these guys. Another one of my favorite vegetables, buttercup squash. And of course, your acorn squash. I love this stuff. A little butter, brown sugar maybe, ginger. That's another recipe video. Subscribe to my channel for more. Please just give this video a thumbs up. And thanks for joining me today. One more.
Hey One Pan fans, Paul here. You notice I call my channel One Pan Fan, and that's because I cook pretty much everything in one pan for convenience and expediency. And today we've got some chicken quarters here, baked, skins removed, put them in the oven for about an hour at 350, covered with a foil tent, and then I remove that tent and crank that up to about 375 for about 20 minutes to let these chicken get brown. Now you notice I got an assortment of lentils, red and green lentils, as well as carrots and some garlic in there. You can cook your rice, lentils, things like that, potatoes, in the same pan with your meat, and the stock from that meat is going to just enrich the flavors in those delicious lentils. So check it out and post your comments below. Are you a fan of one pan cooking? I sure am. Hey everybody, cooking a steak tonight. I'm going to show you how it's done. First, what you want to do is you want to coat your steak with sea salt and crushed black pepper on both sides and let that sit for a couple hours at room temperature. Next, what you want to do is heat up a fair amount of olive oil and butter in your pan. And we're going to let that get up to a medium-high heat. And then we're going to take our beef, that oil's been heating up, and we're going to put it right in the pan. So after you got this meat in the pan, you want to mash down on it with a fork and make sure that meat is hitting contact with that pan all around. That's how you get that nice golden brown color on that meat. This steak has been on here for about 4 minutes now. We're going to flip it over. And I want you to see when you coat your beef with that sea salt and black pepper coating, I want you to see what that comes out like. Can you see how delicious that is, people? Now what you're going to do, that's been on there for about 3 minutes there. Isn't that beautiful? You're going to brown the edges. And I picked up this tip from Chef Gordon Ramsay. I want to brown the edges in that fat there. Get that nice and crispy. You can see how nicely that came out. We're going to let that rest for a minute. In the meantime, we've got these onions going on here in the butter and olive oil. And we're just going to kind of brown those. You can see that in the pan. See how nice those look? Fried in that steak oil, the butter, olive oil, that salt and pepper. So we're going to brown those up. Man, people, I just want to show you what this is like. Can you see that? That crust? Perfect, people. That's how your steak is supposed to look right there. Chef's privilege. Onion.